welcome to Sorry You Went Viral, the podcast all about the stories on social media that have really been setting everyone's thoughts alight over the last week or so, and of course the human side to all of these popular posts. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Tim, and coming up on today's show, should you be a strict parent or one that's down with the kids? We'll also be talking about the medical student who tried to game TikTok in order to pay off his student loan, and a fascinating story of a baby who set social media alight with what she said, and seemingly her family got a free holiday at a very posh hotel out of it.
Good for them. We're going to kick things off, as we always do, with what's gone viral. Now, would you be this strict with your teenage children?
Hi, I'm raising 3 teenagers and they think that we are the most strict. So I wanted to put this out there and I want you to tell me, are we strict or not? Okay, the first one that they think that we're the most strict on is we make them charge their phones downstairs. That goes along with the second one. We don't have TVs, screens, computers, phones, none of that goes in their bedroom. So that everything gets charged downstairs and then they use devices in the family areas. The third way that we are the most strict, we are a 1 blanket per person household. Meaning, if your girlfriend is hanging out with us and you guys want to snuggle up, that's great. 1 blanket each. No sharing blankets on our couch, which we got married young, we know.
So this is Jeanette Tapley. She calls herself TikTok's strictest mum. She's in Central Texas in the US. And that initial TikTok had 115 million views, which is,
Wow.
mind-blowing. 100,000 plus comments, and they're still coming in response to this. I mean, first off, fair play to her for raising 3 teenagers, and she seems to be calm and sane as a result of it. Maybe because she's got boundaries in place. But what I really like is that she's obviously posed the question to everyone, do you think I'm really strict? And she's had a ton of responses. And so she's now responding to them in turn as well. So this is just a flavour of some of her responses to the responses.
Let's start responding to some comments because y'all have opinions and that's great. We are allowed to have opinions in this space. So let's start with the screen time one. First of all, let me start by saying, hi, I'm Jeanette, a real life human raising real life children. And I've never said that I was perfect. I never said that my kids were perfect. So let's just get into some of these, the way I said things incorrectly or weirdly. Okay, 1 hour of screen time. It's not as though their phones become a brick after 1 hour. It is and I was actually wrong. It's 1.5 hours per app. So social media and stuff like that. So after 1.5 hours of TikTok, if they want more TikTok, all they have to do is request it. And guess what? It most often gets approved unless they need to do a chore, clean the room, or do homework. We are not tyrants. We are actually really fun and engaged parents. Some of y'all have jumped to some wild conclusions based on a 1-minute video about our family.
So pretty kind of straightforward, honest approach from Jeanette about how she handles her kids and looks after them and brings them up. And, she does say, I'm a real life human handling real life children. Never said I was perfect. Never said my kids were perfect. And I think that's what I really like about her. And what I think people really appreciate is that she's not necessarily lecturing or dictating to people how they should bring their kids up. She says, this is how I do it. Now, she's a pretty youngish one for teenage kids. She says that she was only, I think, 18 when she married her husband. And she says the reason why I take this approach is because this is the way I remember how I used to kind of play up when I was a teenager. And she, some of the rules may feel a bit strict about device downstairs, but they also sound pretty sensible ideas as well.
Yeah, and in fairness to her as well, she's also done another video which is talking about how the things she's not strict about at all, which seems to really balance everything out.
You know what it never was? That serious. It was never that serious.
Obviously, this has had such a huge amount of traction with everyone, just because everyone's got an opinion, right? Everyone's got different kids, different approaches, different backgrounds. But she said, for example, she doesn't expect her kids to be A-star students all the way through, A-grade students. They have very flexible kind of curfews. It sounds to me like she's a really kind of good communicator, actually. And so she's saying it's more of a collaborative approach, as in, like, I will give you some leeway and some slack on that, as long as you're honest with me about the rest of it as well.
Yeah.
And she, whilst she doesn't expect her kids to get straight A's all the time, they clearly have lots of conversations about college. So there's an expectation built in that, you know, no, you don't have to be the best of the best. But also, if that's the goal that you want to go there, then you've clearly got to work hard and do all of that. I mean, some of her kids have got tattoos. That she's clearly into tattoos herself. I think she said her husband was as well. They're not like, they haven't got like full sleeves or anything, but they're relatively relaxed on other things. But the comments, as I said, there's been tons and tons, hundreds of thousands, and on one comment alone there were 460,000 likes for this comment. As a teen, strict parents make sneaky kids, and that sent a bit of a shiver down my spine. I was like, oh my goodness. I hope that Jeanette's kids aren't sneaky. It doesn't sound like she would be the sort of person with this approach as well, to raise sneaky kids, but it does make you think, oh God, if you're a bit dictatorial about it and a bit too militant and too strict, then your kids are going to just try and find a way to escape to sort of get away from you. And
yeah, but what she said, she replied to this teenager and saying, you know, I believe we all need boundaries. And yeah, we kind of do. And I think there are sensible approaches, I think. And as you said, every parent's different about what they're doing.
Were your parents strict with you?
I knew not to get on the wrong side of my mum.
Oh.
If you ask my partner, am I as strict as she is with our daughter? Well, there we go. Yes. Are
you a pushover dad? You're a pushover dad, aren't you? I love it.
Sometimes a little bit. But I think, you know, another comment I liked as well was saying, you know, structure and expectations are normal. How breaking those is handled is where strict or restrictive or controlling comes to play. And this person says the things they mention are normal.
Yeah.
But everyone's expectations are different. And again, when you post publicly on social media with your views on things, especially something like parenting, it can really either resonate or rile other parents about what you're doing.
I think also because most of her rules come down to screen time and like technology and digital access and all that sort of stuff. And so many parents feel guilty about that, because if their kids do have a lot of screen time or do have whatever phones and stuff in their rooms, then they feel guilty if they're suddenly told that someone else is doing it differently. And so that, I think that's where the criticism comes from. It's just like, oh, you're too strict, but just because I'm too crap. That sort of thing.
Well, going from a very strict parent to a millennial parent, and would you talk to your kids like this?
Queen. What's the tea?
No.
What's the tea?
Stop.
What's up, bro?
What's up?
How'd you sleep?
Good.
Calm. No capping? No capping? No. Peak. Poppy, how was your lunch?
It was good.
Yeah? It was bussing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just quick vibe check. How you feeling? Quick vibe check.
Oh my god. Stop.
So, that is Michael Fasulo. He calls himself Millennial Parent, like I guess me and you are, Hannah. But his kids are slightly... I know. But his kids are slightly older than ours, 12 and 16. And this video got over 1 million views, 1.3 million views. Now, I admit, I don't understand half the words that he's using.
I don't think he does.
I think he does either. His kids certainly do, and their reactions to it are brilliant. They cringe and then kind of accept reluctantly. He's just winding them up. And he's told Newsweek that he feels it's his job to embarrass the kids. Some of these phrases I've never heard of. Slay queen, slap.
I have heard of that one. I hadn't heard of slap, slay queen. Yeah, not that anyone's ever used that. I don't even know if it would be a compliment or not, actually. But anyway, no one's ever used it directly to me, but I have heard it.
What's the tea? I've heard of that.
I've heard
what's going on?
peak, definitely. But I always thought peak was supposed to be kind of like, like the best, the top, the most elevated. And I don't think it is. I think it's just kind of like good, okay, average.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong. Let's see if anyone's listening. Tell me.
What I love about it, again, is it's generated lots of comments from other parents.
Yeah.
What I love is one said, "I do this to my kids all the time. They hate me for it. Personally, I would say it's because I'm so peng."
And then someone else saying, "I can't wait until mine are old enough to wind up like this." And I think both of us can agree that that is something to very much look forward to. Everyone has been putting me off the teenage years recently. I just feel like I've heard all these sort of horror stories, but the ability to be able to wind him up and just sort of take the mick out of him in a kind of like just embarrassing basically is really exciting. I'm going to be that annoying mum on the sidelines yelling out all of this cool slang.
As long as Lewis doesn't say those kind of words on TV,
Yeah.
when he's reading news, I think it should be okay.
I think we'll have to put here if he ends up doing that. Going viral for using peng on BBC News.
Talk about kind of confusing language. This next one, it can be pretty tough being a lower league footballer. But this guy called James Daly, who's on Twitter as the James Daly, he plays for Harrogate Town, is in his 20s, he's 24. He attracted a lot of attention, some good, some not so good, for when he took a slightly different approach to talking about how his season went. He set this up as a Twitter thread saying 5 lessons learnt from the season. Now, we're pretty much used to footballers saying, yeah, it went all right, it could have been better, it could have been worse. But he took much more, what I'd say, is a business studies level approach, kind of a business course approach, which can resonate with some people. We've seen Jake Humphrey, for example, be really popular over that. But also he's attracted a lot of flack on Twitter, particularly for what he says and the way he approaches his life. And unfortunately, I think James caught a bit of this flack. So if I talk about the advantage of availability, Hannah, when I talk about football, what do you think that would be about?
Well, if you talk, I mean, I know nothing about football, but if you're talking about football, then I would assume it's about like how often you're available to play or something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. He later on says, I missed too many games due to injury, but he talks about a pivotal attribute in high-performing environments, whether it be in sport or business, includes enhanced reputation, increased dependability, and more opportunity for growth and learning, which is just a bit of a mouthful for saying, yeah, I missed too many games because of injury. And this thread, as she kind of takes this approach, talks about the importance of action, basically saying, I need to get on, rather than talking about it, I need to get on and show that I can do it. But he talks about it in such a kind of a high performance way, should we say.
Yeah.
It kind of confuses a lot of people and can alienate a lot of football fans as well.
I mean, on the one hand, I'd say like fair play to him, because it seems like this is a guy who's, a footballer's career is relatively short, right? He's not in the top leagues or anything, so he's going to need to have a career after his playing career. And maybe at the sort of young age of just 24, he's already tapping into this. There are so many athletes who go into kind of like performance-based consultancy roles after their athletics career is finished. And you just sort of think, actually, maybe he's sort of pitching himself and positioning himself really well to go into a lucrative career elsewhere, like once his playing days are over. So take a bit of stick from X or Twitter, fine. But, if the money starts rolling in and you start getting approached by all sorts of recruiters and headhunters, then happy days.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure if it's one of his friends or not. Tyler Dixon replies saying, "Go on, the boy. Rare that those who actually become a pro footballer share such truthful insights. Wonder if some of those commenting have achieved the same." And he replied, "Yes, I'd appreciate it, brother. You'll never be criticised by someone who is doing more than you." I mean, yeah, some of the comments, someone says, "What in the LinkedIn is this?" And I think the thing is, we talked about on last show about the LinkedIn approach to talking about life and your career, that seems a bit more appropriate on that platform, and X, where it's a bit more football banter, you're in for a bit more stick. But yeah, it's good that he's reflective. It's just unfortunate that, people just can't ignore it. They have to kind of, criticize him or...
Maybe he'll get a LinkedIn account after this and just copy and paste it over there and see what the response is. In fact, if he does do that, we'll have to keep across it, because that would be super interesting to see what the dynamic is with and what the response is with the audience on that platform, as opposed to, his sort of traditional footballing audience or whatever on X.
Yeah, he at the end of the thread, he says, for more of this, sign up to my mailing list. And so obviously he's thinking about, trying to market himself. So yeah, good luck. Good luck to yourself, James.
Yeah.
Next, this is a pretty controversial story. Now, this teacher has got in trouble with school, I think quite seriously, and caused a huge storm and discussion online for this video.
There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage. I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school, and I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So I had to look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out, and they all agreed.
So that's not normally a scene you would expect in a school or being shown on social media. This is a guy, I think I'm not sure if his TikTok name is Jack Lee. He's referred to as Mr. White somewhere else. But he's a science teacher and content creator on TikTok. And he live streamed himself having his hair unbraided by some of his female students. One at the end of a school day a few weeks ago. Now, that video alone got 8 million views on TikTok, and he titled that video, "Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Teaching is a work of heart." And he talks quite openly and passionately about the relationship between teacher and pupil, about trying to be on their level and to resonate with them. This thing kind of blew up on other social media platforms. It got shared on Twitter, on the Black Twitter community group by Sincerely Nelly, who says, "Black parents tap in. Would you be okay with your daughter unbraiding her teacher's hair? Is this appropriate?" And that her tweet with the videos got over 50 million views.
Wow. I find this I think most people would find it quite uncomfortable, because even if you know this individual, and it's maybe your child who's involved in the video as well, and even if you know that it's all perfectly innocent and actually very nurturing and kind, you still know deep down that there's something that doesn't sit well about this level of intimacy in a school environment. It just doesn't, I don't know if it happened, you said at the end of the school day or something like that, but in any event, this is a person in a position of authority, a male in a position of authority, having younger, impressionable women, girls, who are in his care, do something serviceable for him, and then he is filming that and putting it out on the internet for all to see. And there's something, when you break it down like that, for me, there's something that is just, it's inappropriate. Even if it was meant in the most innocent of ways, he should know better than to A, do it, and B, promote it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I kind of agree with you on that. You talk about some of the comments. One user, D, replied to that tweet saying, "I'm watching this, didn't even realise my little sister's in the back." His little sister's in the background.
Wow.
She said that's her favourite. He's her favourite teacher, and he may get fired. I think it's not clear whether he's been fired or what's going on, suspended. It's not clear. this went viral, not just on Twitter, on Instagram, on Reddit as well, and not just amongst the Black community, but teacher community, parents as well, because it's really tricky.
It is, but then he went on to do another video, which is, and I don't know whether he's done another video because of the viral nature of the previous video, so he felt that he had to use the same medium to then kind of like follow up on it as well to respond. But he's kind of like, saying he doesn't think there's anything weird about this, and these are the messages that I've been getting from my pupils, and take a look at it, and people can tell us what they think.
All the controversy that has come from this video that I posted, I wanted to come on here and read some of the messages that my students are sending me during. Some of the messages that they've been sending me. During this time. Hey bestie, I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay. Our class misses you so much, and we really want you to know that we love you and we miss you so much and can't wait for you to come back. I can't believe that taking somebody's hair out is such a big deal, and it makes me so mad that people make little things big things. I want you to know that the class and others got your back, and we will always stand behind you and up for you no matter what happens. We got you. Again, we miss you and we love you so much, and can't wait for you to come back. I wish that this never happened because it feels like we're losing you.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's kind of, do you make things worse by making more videos about the story? And I kind of think maybe it has. I mean, that video itself then sparked more controversy because people were saying, are you reading text messages? Is it emails? And he had to clarify later on it was emails, and when he says messages. So again, kind of making it kind of slightly worse. And I think his heart's in the right place. Sort of talk about authentic relationships and trying to build good role models. But it's such a delicate situation, being a teacher, such responsibility, that I think it's maybe one that maybe he would look back on and think he could have handled differently. Next, I'm sure you've had bosses or work for companies that are keen to kind of jump on social media trends to promote themselves and their companies, but sometimes doesn't always work out as planned.
We're recruiters. Of course we have a beer tap in our office.
We're recruiters. Of course we get bullied on LinkedIn for taking selfies every day.
We're recruiters. Of course we can spot CB red flags in seconds.
We're recruiters. Of course we've got a PlayStation, a pool table and a table tennis table.
We're recruiters. Of course we've got a beauty station in our office.
We're recruiters. Of course we never sit down at our desks.
We're recruiters. Of course I'm always on the phone.
So that was Enzo Tech Group. They're a recruitment company based in East London, I think. And they posted that TikTok saying, about time the best recruitment company in London jumped on this trend. Hashtag recruitment, hashtag company culture, hashtag 6am. 6am, hashtag office life. And I felt a bit sorry for some of the employees, mercilessly mocked on TikTok. I can't really show the comments because some of them are quite, should we say, questionable about what they were doing and behaviour and stuff like that. But I think again, intentions are in a good place. I'm not sure I'd be able to get much work done if I had PlayStations and pool tables and stuff like that.
Well, one assumes that none of them were forced into participating in this content, and that it was all a voluntary thing. But what makes me laugh the most about it is that they're a recruitment company, clearly trying to recruit people with, and so it's just like, it's all wrong in terms of like how this isn't for their clients. They're not sort of saying, oh, come to us if you're a a headhunter or an executive company is doing a search thing, and we'll find you the right staff. That they've got these kind of like slightly odd robotic like employees themselves who are saying that they're the best people to be able to find the best people for a workplace, and the whole workplace just seems so odd and kind of like and fake.
I don't want to say this, Hannah, but I think we may not be the right audience for this TikTok.
There is that as well.
It did, get the TikTok got ripped and posted on Twitter and all the banter you can imagine that came from that. But I think, I was thinking about this, what they're trying to do. They're trying to appeal really to young people in their 20s who may be in jobs in recruitment, who maybe kind of, it's a hard job. And they're trying to show kind of the fun, lighter side of recruitment and why their company's a good place. And they're doing it on TikTok. Now, I went on their LinkedIn profile and that video isn't on there, which makes sense because they've got a different audience and they're trying to, talk there to their clients about the successes of getting people in the right jobs. And there's a bit of company life stuff, but it's two kind of different platforms with different audiences. Without getting into too much social media marketing, I can kind of understand what they're doing. I think maybe it's a case of the trend had gone on and they kind of missed the trend peak, should we say? But also it's just, it has a cheesy nature to it, unfortunately.
It is really cheesy. I think that the best way to pull this one back for the Enzo Tech Group would be to do a follow-up on it, showing the number of new employees or new people they've recruited as a result of it, and then they can be like, well, and they're all happy, everyone's got a job and blah blah blah, as in like it worked. So the laugh was on us and we're all fine, and we've actually just bolstered our numbers instead. So I hope that is what happened or what is happening, and that they can then follow it up with that kind of a video. And if that one goes viral as well for the cheesy nature of the content or whatever, then we can of course feature it again. And we wish Enzo Tech Group and all of its employees, present and future, the very best.
I just think back to my early 20s when we were working in outer West London and trying to do a video like that where, frankly, you get to finish at midnight on a Friday and it's dark and all the pubs are shut.
We're producers. Can you imagine?
I think, it is... it's not as glamorous. Obviously, it's changed a lot. Sky's changed a lot in the 20 years or whatever, 15 years.
Might be very glamorous now, Gassy. You never know.
Right, it's a lot nicer. It's got Waitrose and everything, and a cinema. But they're trying to appeal to audiences, for people to join them. But maybe just I wish I had that kind of setup when I was in my early 20s around the workplace. Now it's what it's like to go viral. And this medical student tried to game TikTok to pay off his student loan.
So I've done the math, and apparently in order for TikTok to pay off my student loans in one fell swoop, I would need 247 million people to watch this video for 5 seconds. Which you've just done. So thank you. I appreciate it. We'll see how this goes. You can come back and check. Unfortunately, in order to get paid by TikTok, you have to make your videos a minute long, and I don't have that much content to offer. I'm just a guy with a pretty bad mustache. So I'm just going to eat this bowl of cereal, Spencer Shea from iCarly style, and stare out that window right there until time's up. Feel free to hang out if you want to. I'd appreciate the company, but I'll go ahead and set this down over here so you don't have to hear me chew so loud. It's not that kind of video, don't worry. Oh, crunch berries. You're still here. Thank you for sticking with me so long. If you made it this far, go ahead and comment your favorite 7-letter word down in the comments. Thanks.
This guy's called Jake. His handle is Jake Heisenberg. He's a medical student in the US. I don't know if you've heard, Hannah, there's a trend at the minute of content creators trying to pay off debt, basically it's called. And they're trying to get their followers to watch their videos or to donate money in order to pay off their debt. And what Jake's done, there's a little known program in TikTok called a TikTok Creator Reward Program, which in short, basically saying if you have I think over 100,000 followers, or 100,000 views, you're eligible for this program. And the idea is you need to watch a video for a certain amount of time and it needs to be a certain length, and then TikTok will pay you for it. Because basically all social media platforms want users to spend as long as possible on their platform and liking and commenting and engaging, because that makes it more attractive to advertisers, basically.
So how did Jake do? How did he get on?
Let's show you.
Back to answer the question that everybody's been asking. Did we pay off my student loans with one video? Well, no. No, we did not.
So not bad, $4,000, but it had 22 million views, which kind of shows you, it's not easy to monetize being viral on TikTok. Now, he goes into kind of details as to why. I won't bore you with them. But, he does appreciate, he says, I really am appreciative of what I did here, and that I made more money from this TikTok than I did in my previous job. And what I love is the comment.
$4,000 is not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, I mean, when his student loan's 40 grand,
well, yeah,
it's a long way to go. But that's, it's a decent amount. But what I love is the comments. Samantha says, "Someone tell me why I watched the whole thing." And Andrew said, "I watched it on repeat now. What the hell?" Someone else says, "Me too. Why though?" And it's just kind of this people wanting to kind of help him get, make money out of it, because they felt like a community with him and a loyal following to him. What I do like, though, about that second video we showed you, obviously he's trying to tease it a little bit because he wants you to watch for longer. But someone, Sane, I think, spoilt it by commenting saying the answer is $4,200. And he replies going, "Yappy yaps a lot over here." And someone else goes, "Yeah, you're the yapper, bro. This guy just gets straight to the point." And it's tricky because, what do you make content that gets people to watch for longer? We're trying to find that out, of course, in a way that doesn't annoy people and keep them kind of feeling like they're hanging around waiting for the answer. But I think he's, good on him. He's, trying to make things work and having fun and making interesting content along the way. But I think, I wouldn't mind making that amount of money for that million views either.
Yeah, no, I'd take half of that, to be honest, for that many views. But I'm not making content on TikTok, so maybe I should start. Now it is time for the timeline cleanser, and we are now going to show you the TikTok that landed one family with a free stay in a posh hotel.
I have a question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
Me. Now, this baby is now known as the Four Seasons Orlando baby for that very video. It's amazing. I love these kind of videos where babies say kind of random funny things, and lots of people love this video as well. This got 70 million views on TikTok alone. Now, the woman who posted that video isn't their mum, it's their aunt, a woman called Stephanie. She posted this video saying, if the Four Seasons Hotel is looking for a baby ambassador, my niece has got you. We found out later on this baby's name is Kate. She's 13 months old. 13 months old, kind of being able to respond to a question like that is pretty cool. And her parents, Bailey and Will Wise, they told RollingStone.com they didn't post much on social media themselves. And one Saturday morning, her husband came down going, "I got a text saying, 'Did you know we're viral and trending?'" And just how it went all out of control. Basically, it seems they explained that they filmed this video because they're trying to encourage their parents to join them at a stay at the hotel in Florida where they live. Got shared on WhatsApp groups, got shared around with friends, and then the aunt decided to post it on TikTok, and it blew up. It got lots of attention on social media, and they even got a TV appearance where, amazingly, Kate the baby recreated her famous saying.
Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando? Me. See, she is real.
So, I mean, as you said before, Tim, this is a 13-month-old baby. And I don't really understand how they have trained this baby to play this role and say, me, you know, like on cue, on demand. I think you can just about do it with maybe a toddler, which at 13 months, you're still a baby, aren't you? You're not really in toddler phase. But toddlers, you can sort of bribe them and maybe get them to do things. But I mean, it's quite extraordinary. Maybe this kid just really likes a posh hotel. Nevertheless, it worked. It has worked with the viral nature of the content and the fact that they were on ABC, as you say, as well. They did then follow up, because Kate the baby did indeed go to the Four Seasons Hotel and had a lovely time, it seems. They were treated very well. We don't know if they got a free hotel stay or anything like that. Probably, but
I don't blame them. The Four Seasons Orlando has said that their hotel has seen an increase in calls and
really
potential customers and huge growth on their social channels. So damn right they should get a free stay out.
Oh yeah, no, I've just seen that the hotel themselves made their own TikTok of the family stay. And that got 8 million views. So in terms of like free promotional stuff for them, this is like, that's you can't buy that sort of stuff. So yes, I do hope that baby Kate got her palace.
Well, I like the comment from the aunt Stephanie saying talking about some of the comments, mainly positive, of course some negative, but mainly positive. And the favourite one of hers was saying, "This baby hasn't even been alive for 4 seasons." Four Seasons Hotel. But it's great. I think, they enjoy themselves. I love how it's got dressed up, eating spaghetti, getting pampered and having a great time. And I think it's great, going viral on the positive side.
Yeah, and now we're both thinking about how we can monetize our children better.
You're trying to take the local premiere in. Not the same effect, really. Not as glamorous. That's the end of this week's show. We'll be posting links to all those brilliant videos and posts that we've talked about on the show on our socials. And we will be back soon with the next show. See you then.
Bye.